Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly for pricing. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing the second year evolution of the Audemars Piguet Code 11.59 Chronograph. So first, year watches from this line in 2019 had solid color dials. For the second year, 2020, AP took criticism to heart and created a more colorful set of nuanced gradient dials, and that's exactly what we have here, the gradient dial in gray fade lacquer. So this is the code 1159, two different metals, white gold and rose gold, 41 millimeters in diameter. It's actually only 12.8 millimeters thick, which is thinner than I expected. It is 50 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and it has a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. When you throw the watch on the wrist, it's broad, but it's flatter than you expect. At under 13 millimeters, this is a genuine surprise because it looks so sheer in profile, but it will fit underneath most dress cuffs. Now, I recommend this watch for a wrist of at least 15 centimeters circumference because 50 millimeters from lug to lug is quite broad for any watch. This is a dress watch, and it's going to wear almost on the oversized side of the dress watch scale. The timepiece features a strap that has gator on both sides. This is the best type of high luxury strap. So large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top. We have a little bit of bolstering to give it thickness. We have a monotone stitch. It's a semi-gloss finish. We have a folded edge, and then we have small round scale gator on the bottom. And the reason for that is to create a longer lasting strap. More expensive, but also better endurance over time. You have to replace this strap less. And you can see it is an AP factory strap in outstanding condition. Now, the lug junction features screws and bars, which is a secure and upscale way of building a watch. Spring bars are cheaper, but this is more secure. You can also see that the bolt itself has a hexagonal shape, which is a nod to the Royal Oak's bezel bolts and crowns, and the same has been rendered on the buckle. You can see that hex bolt again. If you look really close, what you can see is that the bolt itself is conventional white gold, which is why it has a little bit of a darker color to it than the white gold of the case, which appears to have been plated with some sort of platinum family material such as rhodium. Now, taking a quick look at the buckle, you can see it is nicely made with a combination of polished bevels and satin primary surfaces. Jumping back to the case, you can see that yet again. We have polish and satination on the mid case, which if you look closely is a rounded off octagon, another reference to the Royal Oak. The lugs are beautiful, open and airy. You can see they've even been satinated internally. Externally, they have micro beveling and satination, and we have the same on both sides. As you can see, the beveling is also rendered on the inner faces of the lugs. On the crown side, we have a crown with a couple of different finishes. We have satin and polish and a thick knurling, which is nice. It's a pleasure to grip and operate. We have a combination of satin and polish on the chronograph triggers. And if you look very carefully, you can see that the bezel actually slopes down a little bit at 12 and 6, and the rose gold case thins out at the end. So there's an undulation of line that gives this a dynamic appearance. You can also see that the crystal is anything but standard, as it has a little bit of a curvature from end to end, and then it has a little bit of a dip in the center from side to side, which creates fascinating distortion patterns and refraction. Now, the bezel also has a polished lip. You can see there are a lot of breaks between satin and polish in both rose and white gold, and again, this is a super white gold that's been flashed with some sort of platinum or perhaps palladium or rhodium, all similar materials. Now, on the dial, we have lacquer. We have a tachymeter outboard, which is sporty because it allows you to gauge the speed of something, such as a race car on a track. We have a flyback chrono function, so you can rapidly reset and restart if things are occurring in short intervals or in rapid succession. Now, you can see that there's a raised chapter ring or rehot outboard that serves as the tachymeter scale, and then it slopes down to the dial base, which is black at its edge and silver gray at its center. There's a gradient fade created by the lacquering. All of the indices, the logo and the numeral, as well as the hands and the chapter rings, are lush red gold. And you can see that the hands have a wonderful quality of being rounded and almost domed across their top, something you would expect from a high-end independent. The sub-registers feature a matte black internally to provide both a color and a textural contrast with the dial. And as you can see, the watch features a lovely counterweighted lancet-style seconds hand. The watch does feature hacking or stop seconds, and it has a quick set feature. And if you look carefully, you can see a special font is used for just about every numeral on the dial, and it's very consistent. You can see that the 6 of the sub-register is the same as the 6 of the date, is the same as the 6 of the tachymeter. Watch designers don't always get this right, and it's an important feature to note. You will note that the chrono minute and hour registers are larger than the small seconds for emphasis. Now, turning the watch over, we have the next generation Audemars Piguet in-house automatic chronograph caliber. Now, previously they used an in-house caliber 3126 base with the Dubois de Praz 3840 in AP Speak module. Well, this is both larger and integrated. It's also all in-house. So what we have here is caliber 4401, automatic winding, 70-hour power reserve, ceramic rotor bearings, 4 Hz beat rate, full balance bridge, free sprung balance, flyback, column wheel, vertical clutch. It has all of those features, and it pivots on 40 joules. Now, a few points of explanation. First, the old 3126 movement was about 26 millimeters in diameter. This is 32, so it better fills the case back. Second, the old movement was modular, which meant it was thicker. This is fully integrated, so everything is included into the bridges and plates of the basic movement. The old 3126 had a 3 Hz beat rate. This is now a 4 Hz beat rate, a higher beat rate for potentially better accuracy. You can see we have a black polished column wheel that has outstanding feel. And because of the vertical clutch, there's no extra jump or stagger when you start the chrono. Also, because of the vertical clutch, you can leave it running on a full-time basis. And as with the old 3120, we have a full balance bridge and a free sprung index to make it a tougher movement. And then you can see a feature that's rarely included on watches at any price point. We have here a visible vertical clutch. You can actually see the pincers that move away and into contact to engage this clutch system, which is vertical. It's like 2 top hat cymbals in a percussion set. When they come together, they mesh. There's no play in the system. Most of this is a combination of hand finish and machine finish, but it's neatly done, and it looks appropriately expensive. The watch is 30 meters water resistant, and it's not loomed, so it's more of a sporty dress watch than a true sports watch, but it does a good job of threading the needle. And with this 2020 model gradient dial, it finally looks as expensive as it really is. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.